You'll need that later. It's a wonderful show. You're all going to like it very much. We've got wonderful actors. We want to thank our wonderful director, Miss Sullivan, and as always, our wonderful tech crew. And it's also very important, if you got those phones on, they don't fit with the time period, so shut them off. And your emergency exits are located where you came in, that way. Fire's there, go that way. That should do it. Enjoy the show. Remember Fred Carmichael.
Hey!
Oh, damn it!
What happened?
I fell over something.
Where are you?
How the hell do I know? It's like the black hole of Calcutta.
Well, shall I send to St. Bernard?
Just follow the lead.
No, I see the thing. Let's go this way.
Good.
Hum, 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 hum. Oh, I found it!
What?
The Clean. I'm in a living room. It's straight out of Dracula.
As long as there's electricity.
Oh, and there's this most marvelous little Chippendale chair. It's exactly what we need, you know, in the hall next to that table.
Jessica is rather disconcerted to find you more interested in Chippendale than your lost husband.
Oh, please, stay where you are. I'll flip on the lights.
Just keep talking. I'll find you.
Nothing's happening with the lights.
Oh, how?
You're getting closer, darling.
Keep talking. Count.
Oh, B3, N27, under the O64. Does that help?
Bingo!
Ah, darling, you made it. You found me. Oh, come here, let me look at you. Oh, you've aged. Summer threads and all that.
Don't give me any of your outdated dialogue, just an apology.
For what?
For not following my advice and waiting until the others got here.
But darling, it puts us a giant step ahead of the others to see this room first. Now, you flip there, and I'll flip on the lights.
I thought you said that didn't work.
Well, there's always the master switch somewhere, you know, the enormous, big lever.
I suppose you're right.
Yes, I know it.
I wouldn't venture out there if I were you.
Oh, I'm perfectly all right. Now,
Good, we're even.
I hope you kept up my Blue Cross.
Medicare takes you over in October. My God, this is a dreary room.
It's supposed to be. Oh, I found it.
Find it?
Yes.
Good.
How's that?
Go ahead. Marvelous of our Lord Olivier. I never forgive you. Try another.
This is number 5.
Go ahead. It's green. You made me look like Lon Chaney.
Oh, please. I found it. Here's a big letter. Ready?
Yes, go ahead. Jessica. Oh, this is a dreadful room.
Mr. Summers has an exact reproduction. Oh, you're right. I wouldn't have got dead here.
Well, many have been.
Oh, that's good for you. Your sense of humor is coming back. What shall we do now?
Silly girl, have a martini.
No, what a perfectly brilliant idea.
I thought you'd like it.
Here we are. Shall we have a seat?
Yes, of course. It does sort of feel like we're in a living room, doesn't it?
Well, except the furniture's all wrong.
It's depressing, but worth an set, I gather.
No, I mean, it's placed wrong. It hasn't ever annoyed you. It's all facing out there.
It has to, that's where the audience is.
Well, if this were a real living room, then furniture would be in clusters, I suppose.
Conversational units, as you call them.
That's right. Olive.
I'm quite all right, thank you.
Oh, too bad.
If the furniture weren't facing the audience, they wouldn't be able to see the actors' faces.
Yes, but that would be better in some cases, I suppose.
Conversational units, as you call them.
Yes, I've forgotten that. But do you remember that very old thing we saw off Broadway?
Parts of it were enjoyable.
Oh, you dirty old man.
Oh, granted.
Whoever would invest in a nude version of Hedda Gabler?
Other dirty old men.
Oh,
Go ahead.
is this mine?
Yes, it is. All right.
Now, shall we have a toast?
Yes, what shall we drink to?
The project, I suppose.
Good idea.
Here's to death, violence, murder, and mayhem.
But with sophistication.
We're sophisticated, of course.
Now everything's right with the world.
Quickly!
Don't do that! Oh, God!
Sorry, darling. we don't like the others.
One can't like everyone.
Well, but we've signed a contract.
It's good money.
Oh, you always know exactly the right thing to say at the right time, darling.
Even if we despise the others, it should be good fun to get back to work again. Me sitting at the typewriter, you pacing back and forth, trading ideas.
Bickering, you mean?
Oh, darling, we don't really bicker. Sometimes, perhaps we have a slight disagreement.
Like that time you wanted to hurl a hatchet into that girl's back.
Aren't you ever going to forget that?
But it was such a bloody idea. Our readers would have closed the book then and there. From us, they expect a pleasant murder. A simple poison, a polite stab in the back that's genteel with a hatpin, but quit a hatchet? You must have been drinking early that day.
I was trying to change the pattern.
You don't change the pattern that pays off.
Paid off.
Paid off. People still read our books, don't they?
In a dentist's office once they're through with the National Geographic.
But we have more than enough to be comfortable the rest of our lives, and I don't regret a moment of it, do you?
Not at all.
Oh, yes. But you're right, I'm getting excited about working again.
It's time our style came back into vogue anyway.
We really brought Margaret to a new high, didn't we? We're like an art gallery, and the new ones are like butcher shops, I suppose.
I wish someone else would get here if we ran a stupid sipping martini in an empty sound studio.
Oh, don't you worry. It will soon be bustling with authors. They sure do make these sets realistic, don't they?
That's the point.
This is just canvas, but I could have sworn it was a wall, and these ceilings, they're for the acoustics, I suppose.
Probably. Hello? See no echo.
Hello?
My voice is changing.
Over here, follow the gleam.
Be right with you. This is a dreary vault, isn't it?
Wait till you're where we are.
It's a woman.
Must be Mildred Maxwell.
Wait, read it. Those lights are bright, aren't they?
Stand in the right one, it'll take 10 years off you.
Oh, nothing can do that short of a trip to Lord's. How do you do? I'm Mildred C. Maxwell.
We've read everything you've ever written.
Oh, thank you, darling. A few million more like you and I wouldn't have to be here right now. You must be Mr. Summers.
Wrong.
I hate to be wrong.
Whitney Olive, this is my wife, Jessica.
I should have known the martinis.
Would you like one?
Never drink on the job, dear. It coagulates the mind. And let me say, I have read everything you've ever written.
Now, where is it?
But I never realized you were so like your books.
In what way?
I mean, every one of your murders starts out with a charming couple drinking a martini. It was like a trademark.
We have to maintain the image.
Besides, we happen to enjoy martini.
Well, so do I, dear, but unfortunately I never made a career out of it. So, where are the others?
We're the only ones who arrived.
Honestly now, what do you think of this whole thing?
Should be good fun as long as we all don't end up fighting.
Every bee to his own bonnet, that's what I've always said.
Oh, I wondered what you always said.
Oh, marvelous, you are like your books. I try to be, but it never comes off somehow.
How do you mean?
I mean, every one of my murders is so spectacularly logical, and my character's so organized, but in reality, I have a hard time balancing my temper. Never would have thought it from my books, would you?
Certainly not. Your murders they're brilliantly plotted. They're something like a geometry problem. Many of the time I've said to Jess that we could use more of your ingenuity.
And many of the times I've wished for your comic flair for the urbane.
Oh, which this collaboration is going to be perfect. We're getting along like a house of fire already.
Mutual respect, that's what all authors should have.
Especially mystery authors who are dated.
Nonsense! Your stories are as alive and as thrilling as ever.
But we only hinted at sex and avoided violence whenever possible.
But mine are timeless. You see, the interfering detective, the casual murder there, and then call everyone into a room and expose who did it. That's the basis to all murder books.
Not anymore, I'm afraid. Take our characters, for instance. Rich, sophisticated, always from the 400. Now, what do you read about today? Pick up any book and these girls have bosoms like watermelons and rich, creamy thighs. I never wrote about any girl like that.
He may have thought it, but he never wrote it.
Well, the pendulum is swinging, my dear. Even the sexy CIA agent is out. I'm sure Brad Benedict hasn't sold that 1,000 copies of it.
No.
I get my royalty statement next month, but I think you may be right.
There I go again, sticking my foot up right into the knee.
No, it's okay, it's true.
How do you do?
I know who you are. You're the Olives. I always loved that name. It goes so well with the martinis. Miss Maxwell. Pleasure.
And we know who you are, Brad Benedict. You're the author who brought the pencil to the transistor radio and the camera to the cigarette lighter.
It was good while it lasted.
Martini.
Oh, yes, thanks.
We were just complimenting each other's murders. Care to join in?
Am I expected to compliment my idols?
Oh, please. I like you.
Well, without you stalwarts of a murder mystery, I never would have had my short-lived career. I learned everything from you.
That's a good speech, dear. Now, do sit down.
And enjoy this martini. Just a second.
Thanks. Just a handful, please.
We were just talking about how we're not going to fight. They may expect it, but we're going to collaborate and make up for it.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, but I must admit, there's something about you that I hate. It isn't the modern style you use. I concede that since you have a dynamic flair. It's, well, your name.
What's wrong with it?
The two B's. I hate authors with alliterative names.
What about yours?
Well, I predate you, unfortunately.
No, Mildred, but you changed your name. I read about it somewhere.
That's a damn Reader's Digest.
She was born Zelda Mildred, but changed it to be Mildred Z. Maxwell.
Besides, Brad Benedict is my real name. Actually, it's Bradley Bruce Benedict. Can you handle that?
I concede.
Here's to you. Good. Never got dry enough these days.
Oh, Quint has the secret.
What?
I pour the gin in a thermos, close it up, and whisper the word vermouth in the next room.
It's quite the rotten old room, isn't it?
My agent said it's an exact replica of the one on the island. We're going to shoot the script here.
After we write it.
I hope we can write this quickly. I hate to belabor murder.
I once wrote my most famous book, The Golden Mummy Case, in 6 days.
Must have worked non-stop.
No, I had hives and I couldn't see.
Well, there's no reason we can't pop this thing out in a few days. I suppose they want each of us to have a little bit of our own thing so it will appeal to everyone.
Jason Summers isn't here yet.
No, just us 3.
I'm afraid we're being stood up by him.
Someone's bound to come soon, just Summers and Ducted left.
Say, whatever happened to Rodney Ducted?
I like that. It sounds like a movie title. Whatever happened to Rodney Ducted?
No, really, I thought he was dead.
But, no, I'm sure he's not. I read the obituary page first thing in the morning. It's a sign of age.
Now, he was an author who switched styles, all right. After he gave up the murder, suddenly in the 30s he came up with Jack Club.
And to make a niche, my dear, with all those hard-hitting project stories, I'm sure he's retired on some island in the Caribbean.
I hope he has a house better than this one.
The real this one.
Oh, she is getting cryptic.
Well, one thing I'll say from Rodney's stories is that he always had a good shock element in them.
It kept the readers away.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to come upon us.
Surprise! Oh, didn't mean to scare you, really. Just wanted to make an entrance, so I came around this way. Miss Maxwell, this is indeed a pleasure. I was just rereading your case of the black-eyed turtle last week, and I do admire your structure.
Mr. Ducted, after all these years we meet, how do you do? Whitney Olaf, Jessica.
I am a tremendous fan of yours. Tremendous.
Thank you. Miss Maxwell, you seem to know.
I kept that cover story in time about her. Of course, it was 20 years ago, but she's changed somewhat.
And when did you leave Shangri-La?
I detect a note of bitterness which is not apparent in your writings. And this is not Benedict.
How do you do, sir?
A pity.
What is?
You are me. Younger, of course. You took what I wrote in the 30s, added a few transistors, undressed a few women, got astoundingly good royalties for a while.
That time was a few years ago.
So, we're all going to be working together. I must say, I'm looking forward to it, trading ideas, thoughts. When do we start?
As soon as Mr. Ducted, no, he's already here, Mr. Summers. We've been waiting so long, the tide is getting low in my martini though.
Oh, you can feel that.
Intriguing room, isn't it?
Dreary, I call it.
What I could have done with this in my horror days. A sliding panel here, a groping hand there, the beautiful girl seated at the desk, footsteps coming down the corridor. She turns, screams! That doesn't scare anyone anymore. Pity.
Jack Club would have hit the monster over the head with the butt of his gun.
Another era. Jack Club. Warner Brothers made a good thing out of him, but who and what are current now?
Nothing, that's why we're here.
But what do we do now?
Oh, please, if one more person says that, I'm calling a cab and going home.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the man who contacted your respected agent, Jason Summers. How do you do? I purposely came a little late to let you all get acquainted. Clever idea, wasn't it? Well, actually, the vice president in charge of new sales suggested it. Can't take all the credit, can I?
Why not?
They find out. Jealousy, you know. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to WMT Studios.
Who is he talking to?
I don't know. It is our pleasure to invite you to join us in a short experimental evening in crime.
He's not speaking to us.
Down through the ages, murder and mayhem have fascinated each and every one of us.
Maybe he's psychotic.
So tonight, we have brought together the outstanding mystery writers of their time.
Mr. Summers.
It is our idea
Mr. Summers.
Excuse me. Yes, Mr. Ducted.
We're all wondering one thing.
What?
Who the hell are you talking to?
The audience.
What audience?
There.
Good God, you're right. There are people out there.
Lots of them. Oh my God.
And I look right.
Mr. Summers, what is the meaning of this?
Is this some sort of joke? Didn't your agent tell you there would be an audience?
Certainly not, or I would have worn black tie.
Oh, perhaps an oversight on my part, but it's no harm done, right? Just an experiment, more of a game, really.
Murder is hardly a game. We have all made a career out of it.
Sit down and let me explain.
I don't like audiences.
I think we should all go home.
You can make me nervous.
They look like nice people, but so many of them.
Sorry about the interruption. Authors, like actors and anyone else involved in the creative disciplines, are temperamental. As I was saying, look at these 5 people, ladies and gentlemen. What do you see? Genius. That's what you see. 5 brains which have been dedicated to murder.
Don't protect us.
WMT Studios has brought together, at great expense, these 5 authors to collaborate and become one, to create what we hope will be the greatest mystery series of all time. Now, let me introduce you to them, the faces behind the book jackets, as it were.
Does he write his own material?
Jessica and Whitney Olive, authors of over 30 bestsellers, former joint presidents of the Crime Writers League, and darlings of international society.
I can't tell you how I feel being here.
Ha ha ha. Mildred D. Maxwell, specialist in the surprise ending, the woman who kept us up late at night waiting for the last page of her latest thriller.
I'm constantly thinking of a new way to kill somebody.
Benedict, the man who modernized the spy. His hard-hitting heroes perform with no holds barred, whether it was with the enemy or with a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
And finally, Rodney Ducted, the man who terrified us in our youth with such monsters as the creeping fiend, the crawling hand, and the ghoulish girl, and who later went on to create the master private eye of the 30s, the two-fisted, two-gun Jack Club.
See, it was nothing really, an extension of myself. You see, when I was a boy...
Oh, sit down.
It is my idea, or rather the idea of WMT Studios,
Watch that or you'll get fired.
to combine these talents. Put a little Maxwell there, a splash of Benedict here, a dose of Ducted, a few dashes of Olive, come up with a tossed salad of murder.
Block that metaphor.
This stage setting, which you see before you, is an exact reproduction of the living room of Fulton's vault.
Does everything have to be alliterative?
From the time when the Buccaneers sailed the Spanish Main, there's been an island off the coast of Jamaica which has been shrouded with mystery. That famous pirate Redbeard built it with labor and called it Vulture's Vault. He built it here and died here in this very room which we've recreated for you. Then, in 1931, it was sold to people who used it to transport liquor illegally into the United States.
Please don't touch me.
Yes, and then sold to Morgan Fitzbee. It was the island where the billionaire recluse met his unfortunate ex. A knife protruding from his back.
This dialogue is terrible.
Appalling.
Miss Maxwell, I'm not a successful author like you. Your time will come.
If he doesn't shut up soon, the audience will leave.
As you can see, we're all very informal at this gathering. Tonight, our authors will get acquainted with each other and their working method. It will just be a little fun.
I hate games.
I rather fancy myself a cribbage and trade.
Mr. so, our 5 authors will be flown to the Caribbean, where they will travel by small boat to Vulture's Vault. There, ladies and gentlemen, they will create stories of mystery, intrigue, and murder.
And another copywriter's head will fall.
A series rivaled by none other in the history of television. Oh dear, I rather expected a little applause there. The series will be shot here with the leading actors of a bygone era. Actors who, along with these authors, you may have almost forgotten about. Let me remind you of the ironclad contracts our lawyers have drawn up for you, and the generous salaries you're being paid, and the fact that your last 2 years of sales haven't equaled 1 month of the country's this year's bestseller, Sex for Profit.
Is the thermos empty?
I drink hemlock.
Jack Club would blast his way out of here.
Planted a honing device on.
Now for our get acquainted game, the envelope please.
This is too much.
A Price Waterhouse is everywhere.
Thank you. Inside here, there are 12 slips. Each one has a motive on it. There are such motives as lust, greed, money, etc. I shall have you, Miss Maxwell, draw a motive.
This is deadlier than the draft lottery.
Murder Jason Summers.
I beg your pardon.
I'm just trying for a little bit of humor, dear.
Read it, please. Yeah.
It says jealousy.
That's as original as sin.
Well, now that you have your motive, I'll just disappear over here and you can start plotting.
I'm just gonna sit there.
I can't just sit here and think of a plot. I always do my best work in the early morning.
I have to slouch over in a chair for weeks before I can think of anything.
If you want to go out and have a smoke or something, we'll ring a bell when we come up with a good jealousy plot.
Oh, I'm jealous of anyone who isn't here.
I have an old plot I've been kicking around for a while. I'll give it to you and we can toss it around.
There's that salad again.
Well, here it is. I hope none of you paid to be here. Well, for my plot, I've only worked out the middle and the end. And, I hope you've all read my books. They're available in paperback unless, of course...
Miss Maxwell, no commercials, please!
All right, dear. Now, for the plot, we have the usual husband who's married a woman for her money. She is rich, prominent, and a bitch. And I'm not to say words like that.
Censorship is at a new low. However, for the purposes of this show, we will simply say, bad woman.
All right. Well, the wife is a bad woman. She is tired of her husband and naturally going to divorce him. He'll be left with nothing. This being a murder story, he decides to kill her.
God, what a little buzzkiss. Same as every other.
Usual so far, but Mildred Maxwell always has a surprise up her typewriter. Okay. This husband, I can't tell stories well. I wish you could see the characters as I do.
Oh, but they can, Miss Maxwell. Just use your imagination. Describe them and we shall see them.
All right, I'll try. The husband has blotted out the murder most ingeniously. He's gotten in touch with a third cousin or a ne'er-do-well classmate or something like that, and is paying him to be his accomplice. This husband, we'll call him George, is good-looking, dressed in a nice suit, and... Exactly! That's exactly what he should look like. Isn't imagination wonderful?
That's an appallingly bad suit.
Oh, let her finish her story.
Sorry, Mom.
He is nice looking. And he should have a broken arm. That is the most important part. For the ne'er-do-well, he is, well, ne'er-do-well looking. And yes, that's exactly what he should look like. Now, the husband, George, is just finishing plotting out the murder. He says,
And that's all you gotta do. Here's your plane ticket to Chicago and made out of money. You sure nothing can go wrong? It's foolproof. You will wear a cast in a sling. That'll make you immediately identifiable. you will board the 11 o'clock plane, slouch in your seat, and pretend to sleep all the way. No one will pay attention to what you wear, just the broken arm. Tomorrow, there will be 80-some-odd passengers who will swear I was on flight 752 at the time of the murder.
Let's hope so.
What could go wrong? Well, you are somewhere halfway between New York and Chicago. I shall get rid of Martha. And there's not a thing the authorities can prove. I'm the one with the most motive, but I was apparently 30,000 feet in the air at the time it happened. The perfect alibi. I shall board the 12:30 flight under an assumed name and be there when the body is discovered. I shall be properly shocked, attend the funeral as the dutiful husband should, and accept the inheritance oh so reluctantly. And there's not a thing Roger can do.
Roger's the new man.
Oh yes, Martha's always got a new man ready, willing, and younger.
You sure they can't connect me with you in any way?
How could they? As far as anyone knows, we haven't seen each other in 15 years.
There's only one thing you've overlooked.
Which is?
The money.
It's all here.
I'll be thinking of you at 11:30 tonight.
And I'll be thinking of the future.
Now, as I said before, I've also worked out the climax at 11:30 that night. Martha, the wife, is at home. She best be dressed in some negligee, they always seem to be, and she better be lovely, but a trifle hard-looking. Yes, exactly. That is Martha. Perfect. Perhaps she is on the phone with Roger.
Hello, Roger, darling.
Oh, wait, we need atmosphere. Music and counterpoints for the scene you know is coming. Could I get a radio, please?
As you wish. Radio!
What service? Thank you.
Welcome.
Martha is on the phone with Roger.
He's gone. A quick divorce, and then we'll be together. He leaves on the 11 o'clock flight from Newark Airport. Poor thing won't be able to carry his luggage with that broken arm. We'll have to take a sky cab. That will really hurt him. What? Mexico, I think. Divorce is overnight. Of course you can't, darling. I wouldn't dream of going it alone. How's lunch tomorrow at 1? Until then. I do too. Hello? Is someone there?
Hello, Martha.
Did you get drunk and miss your plane?
Not at all. I've never been more sober in my life.
I don't think I've ever seen you sober.
Take a good look.
You are sober. Is it because you have to buy your own scotch now? Oh, I've had my last look at you.
Oh, how right you are.
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm gonna kill you.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm serious, Martha. Do you really think I'd give up the job of being your husband without a retirement plan?
You didn't retire. You were fired. Go on, get out of here. Get on another plane.
Oh, but I'm on one already. You see, Martha, as we speak, there's a man flying over the country dressed like me with a broken arm. I have any number of witnesses who will swear I'm not here but there. It's all beautifully thought out.
You're bluffing. I'll call the police.
I won't have time.
I know you. You might think up something like this, but you never have the guts to pull it off.
You're wrong, Martha. Thank you.
We interrupt this program for a news bulletin. Amalgamated Airlines Flight 752 from Newark to Chicago is crashed outside of Cleveland, Ohio. There are no survivors.
Surprise ending! Shock to them at the last line. Should I get applause for this? Well, as I said before, there are lots of small details to work out, but we have our jealousy. The husband is jealous of Roger, and the money that's rightfully be George's. What do you all think?
I think it's nice.
But what?
There's no one you really care about.
Oh, I've never really cared for anyone in your stories.
No, let's not get testy. I always had a sympathetic ingenue when they're somewhere.
Maybe if we met them at a cocktail party, perhaps there's some chit-chat in the back, you know.
That's not the way Mildred Wright suggests.
Well, we're collaborating, aren't we?
What if we upped? Perhaps if George were with the CIA and Roger were some foreign spy, he could play as a homing device under Roger's lapel and overhear them making love be a rather sexy scene.
This sex should be kept in the bedroom and not flaunted on television screens across the living rooms.
Why not make it a really good horror story? They used to play well, and maybe it's time for a comeback. If this were one of those silent films I used to write, Miss Maxwell, I'll show you.
Monsters are out, Mr. Ducted. Really, they are.
But my climactic scenes are classics. Remember Frankenstein, Dracula? Well, I was way ahead of those boys. Lon Chaney and the Silence. That's when we really had terror. We always had a mad scientist jealous because the ingenue loved another. In this case, the ingenue was a beautiful girl. Magic. Now, the scientist will plead once more for her hand in marriage. If refused, he shall call on the monster he has created to kill her. You'll note that ingenue doesn't see the monster until the last possible moment. Suspense. Now for the scientist. In all modesty, I must say that I don't think I could conjure up as good a scientist as I myself would make.
Oh, Quint and I do that all the time. We love to act, don't we, darlings?
I fancy myself the John Gielgud type.
Really, I hadn't noticed.
Please! Of course, you must remember that I still think of these plots in terms of silent films and those wonderful title cards. Dialogue was so unimportant. Music provided the atmosphere. Music. Ready. Action.
That started the hard-hitting our detectives, but that would be a parody now, too.
You really think so?
I know so. Let me show you.
I'm not sure I want you to.
Nonsense. I've been quivering on the sidelines waiting to get into the act. Now, you go over there and Jess and I will show you what your Jack Club will be like now.
I'm a marvelous actress.
Do you really think this will accomplish anything?
Let them have it. Wait, can we do it alone?
We might have to pull in a fragment or two like the others. Now, you go over there and play the usual girl, alright? And I'll play Jack Club.
Great idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel I must apologize.
What for?
First of all, stop with that.
That's my bad. I'm not guys.
Come on, Rodney. Secondly, this was supposed to be a mystery seminar, and you haven't collaborated yet. More of a happening.
Just sit down. You brought us here to collaborate. Let us do our thing.
This isn't what I had in mind at all.
Now, Jack Club stories always starting off with a hard-hitting scene, the narration setting, as it were. It was a cold morning, and the city was cold still. It was a tough night. Violence was my friend. My name is Jack Club. I started the day off with my usual day cap. Then suddenly, I felt a tight knot in my gut. I knew this wasn't going to be an ordinary day. Then she came in. She came in.
Oh, sorry, darling. Please start again.
Then she came in. She was bad. Oh, bad. Her lips formed a wicked smile. She was curvy, a bit like some Venus de Milo. But she had arms! Arms that had held men. Any men. I got them, She came towards me like a bulldozer clearing a garbage dump. Her eyes searched me like a Geiger counter. Then she spoke.
I'm in trouble. Big trouble.
My name is Trouble.
Kiss me hard. My husband is dead.
I'm falling for you, baby. I'm falling fast.
They think I shot him.
Did you?
Why would you say that? What do you think?
I think you're bad. Oh, bad.
It was his stepdaughter, Stephanie. She killed him because he threatened to leave his money to me. She's jealous. Kiss me, quick.
Where is this broad, Stephanie?
Stephanie Mildor, that's me! She's rotten, all rotten.
Oh, but innocent. So innocent.
That's the woman who killed my father! It was you! All you! Believe me! Please believe me!
I do, baby.
What for us? Our love, our desires!
It's all over, baby, all over.
What was my mistake?
Putting your hand on my cheek. It's there, all there.
What is?
Powder burns from the gun you used to shoot your husband.
Oh, I didn't want it to end like this. Don't shoot me!
She's dead. Hold it.
Now it can be you and me, Jack Club.
It's no good, baby. The memory of Stephanie Mildor will always haunt me. Give me that. Yes, babe. Poor Stephanie. She was good. All good.
I love you, Jack Club. Let me go with a kiss.
It was an ordinary day. I had found two loves and lost two loves. The sun set. The city was cold steel again like every heart in it. My name is Jack Club.
That was excellent! Exactly right! You see, Mr. Ducted, everything all of us did is now a parody. We are all anachronisms.
Perhaps. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Olive. Your performances were quite something.
Oh, I don't quite know how to take that.
Just take it and be quiet.
I disagree, however. My style of writing is still current. Nothing's come on to replace it yet.
Well, Whit and I can do another one. We're just getting more done, aren't we?
No. This one is for me. I'll show Mr. Benedict what his mystery tales are like if he wants.
Not so sure I do want.
But it's my turn to twist the knife, as it were. Suppose we take one of Mr. Benedict's famous CIA men. We'll just pick him up in the middle of our climactic scene. Come on, Mr. Benedict, you act it out over there.
How will I know what to say?
It's my version of your story, so you'll say what I'm thinking.
All right, here goes.
We find our hero about to stop the takeover of all Allied missile information by Chaotic. Those are the bad men. The organization always has initials that spell out a name. You've noticed that, haven't you? Now, our hero has been searching for the super spy. Super spies always have catchy names, too. We'll call this one Silverleg. Now, all throughout the story, Mr. Benedict's hero has been having various affairs with various girls in various unusual locations. Turkish baths, cemeteries, the subway, or only the express line. Now, we find him in his beach house with his beautiful secretary.
There is something about you, 2769. Something different.
My pajamas are custom made.
I've been doing this assignment, working for you all day and all night too.
Now this assignment's come to an end.
No, 276390845. I'm not contact people. I'm going to stick around.
But I found out who Silverleg is.
But you couldn't have.
Yes, I could. I planted this on you. It's a honing device and I heard everything. This is a miniature radio broadcasting system. And I heard you reporting to the agents from Chaotic.
No!
I'm sorry, Beauty, but I've got to turn you in.
No, not yet.
No. Business before pleasure.
Wait! There is just one more thing I've got to know.
Which is?
Where did you plant this honing device?
There There you are, Mr. Benedict.
At least she was wearing something.
Is that how my books seem?
Your detectives are just as ridiculous as mine. You present them that way.
Mr. Ducted, please go on.
That's the end.
But where was the honing device planted?
I haven't the faintest idea. I don't write that kind of story.
Spoiled sports.
It seems to me that we've lost our purpose somewhere along the line. I mean, if we all keep making jabs at each other, we're never going to collaborate.
I think what we all need is a drink.
We've run out of our allotted time. Unions, you know. I suggest we disband until the limousine arrives in 20 minutes.
That is rather stupid, don't you think? We're supposed to fly down there, spend the night in some dreary little hotel, then clamber to the boat in the afternoon to an island with a house that'll look exactly like this set. Why don't we just stay here?
Exteriors. You see, most of the action you write will take place here, but you still want some outside shots. You know, the press wants to do press conferences Friday morning. The publicity will make the show, not the script. Oh, I didn't mean to say that.
But you did say it, didn't you?
I suggest we call this whole thing off and disband until the limousine arrives.
Frankly, I don't see we're going to get any farther there than we have here.
I agree.
Maybe if we just focus on our different writing styles, and we all have something individual to contribute. Let's focus on that.
Very good, young man. Let's go have a drink.
Ah, yes.
There's a rather festive lounge across the street.
We'll see you in the limousine, Mr. Summers.
In 20 minutes, I shall meet you at the airplane, and we shall fly to the Caribbean, and then I will go to Vulture's Vault to make preparations. We wouldn't dream of making you take the lunch alone.
We're ready.
Where are you going? Thanks to the audience
For what?
for coming.
We didn't invite them. Thank you anyway.
Same here.
They've been remarkably quiet. I should think they'd have been bored to that.
I think they are.
I'm just so embarrassed.
This next scene takes place at Vulture's Vault. Should be more entertaining. Got to be. At least you get a chance to see how these things are made, how they get started. I don't know what to say now. I guess we should have lights out now. Oh dear, I hope the stage manager hasn't left. Lights out! Thank goodness.
I was calling you, Jane.
I heard you. That's why I'm here.
I saw the launch on the horizon. It will be here in 3 minutes.
Oh dear.
What's bothering you?
The dinner. The recipe Mr. Summers gave me is rather fussy.
I'm sure it will be as delightful as you are, my dear.
Thank you, but I'm not used to a gas stove. All the families I worked for on the mainland had electric.
I have confidence in you, Jane. As does Mr. Summers.
How do you know he does if you never saw him until last night?
I have waited.
If you ask me, Mr. Summers is going to have a nervous breakdown before this is all over.
I know. I heard him pacing the floors of his bedroom all night.
When I went up there this morning, his bed hadn't been slept in.
Have you seen him today?
I haven't laid eyes on him. He said he never eats breakfast, but he didn't take lunch either. Not as much as a cup of coffee. It makes me nervous.
Peculiar. Most peculiar. Perhaps he's waiting at the dock for the launch. We'd better go and check.
I got dinner to look after.
Go to the dock, Jane.
My roast is... I don't like going down that steep path.
You are perfectly safe. It is daylight. Now,
I wouldn't go out there at night. The dark makes me nervous. I've always been afraid of it.
Jane, the launch will be landed. Go.
Yes, sir.
You're not supposed to be here.
The authors are arriving to fulfill their commitments, but they don't know what they've committed themselves to. That's for them to find out alone. You disappear now. Good. We're alone.
I must say, the outside looks like forest lawn.
I hope it has a bar.
Are you all right, Mildred?
Still seasick from that boat trip.
That's something I've never been bothered with, a weak stomach.
Well, only for you.
My books that would have flown us over here in a helicopter.
Mr. Summers was right. It's exactly the same.
Exactly.
Incredible what sets planners do, isn't it?
Yep, this is real, all right.
I can create here. This just calls for a corpse to be sprawled across it.
I fancy a Danish modern myself. Feels like early Salvation Army.
It's a commanding view, all right? I like this place. I fit right in here.
I wouldn't brag, darling. Oh, but look! It's just what your aunt gave us for a wedding present. Who'd have thought there were two of them?
Rather worried about the reception we got. That lovely child medicine and scampered to the back door. Where is everybody?
You must be Gregory.
That is correct. Mr. Summers told us you'd be here.
I'm proud that
I know very well. I know who you all are.
And we know who you are, so we're even.
What are your wishes?
Is it cocktail time?
If you wish it to be so,
I wish it to be desperately.
then I shall prepare. You will pardon me.
That's a creepy one, isn't it?
The odd servant, standard of my earlier works. Oh, I do hope he's Middle European, so beautifully nebulous.
Do you suppose we're going to work with this thing looking down at us?
I do believe it's rather excellent painting.
You can tell by scratching it with your fingernail.
Oh, I don't think Mr. Summers would approve.
You know, I just thought the tropics would be more lush with lots of vegetation and palm trees.
You didn't write rain, did you?
No, darling, that was Somerset Maugham.
There's nothing here but typing.
What did she expect? A will to be read at midnight?
I thought Mr. Summers might leave a letter or something.
It's strange he didn't leave us at the dock.
If he's changing to black tie, I shall spit.
You must be around here somewhere.
But where?
Here!
Summers!
Oh,
What's wrong with him?
Catch her!
Oh, he's in.
oh, he's in his unconscious! What's... He's dead!
A knife in his back!
It can't be suicide.
Darling, he's a real murderer!
And out of the closet, too. That's too perfect to believe.
What do we do?
Call everyone together and expose who did it.
Who?
I haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, dear.
What's the matter?
It's the first time I've seen a real dead body. It's not what they look like.
Evidently.
Well, we know one thing is certain.
What?
We have the beginning of our plot. All we have to do is solve it.
Excuse me, please. But I do believe I'm going to faint.
Oh!